Order, order. Hello and welcome to Reporters Without Orders, a podcast where we talk about what made news, what didn't, and some things that absolutely shouldn't have. I'm your host, Akanksha Kumar, and joining me in the studio are two guests. I have with me Vidheesha Kuntamalla, a freelance journalist based in Hyderabad who writes on gender, politics, and social justice. Hi, Vidisha.
Hi.
Thanks for joining
Thank
Reporters
you.
Without Orders.
Thank you for having me.
Also joining us in the studio is my colleague Ashwine Singh, who has been tracking news developments related to the raids on the co founders of Wire by the Delhi police following the retraction of the story that they had done on Meta and a complaint filed by BJP IT cell chief Amit Malviya. Vidisha's recent story, published on article14.com, raises concerns about privacy related issues in the state of Andhra Pradesh, where the state government has been collecting data of citizens in the name of welfare schemes. Why are we discussing privacy, one might ask? Because privacy is now a fundamental right in this country granted to us after the 2017 Putta Swami judgment. It's something which, like bodily autonomy, needs to be preserved and conserved by the state and not allow it to be left vulnerable and misused by state agency itself. And Vidisha, before I, ask you about the story, you have done ground report from two districts, Kurnool and Srikakulam in Andhra Pradesh.
Karnool.
I'm really sorry about my pronunciation. It's called Kurnool.
Yeah.
Um, so, there is just one anecdote, and after that, I'll, leave the floor open for you to answer that. Even though we are discussing privacy for the last like couple of years in an era of gizmos and gadgets where there is so much of data and digital footprint available, of course, the issue was raised way back in 1964 as well. For those who may not know, in the Kharak Singh versus State of Uttar Pradesh judgment, where one dissenting judge had said, and I quote, privacy is an essential ingredient of personal liberty. And now, help us understand what are the recent instances of misuse of personal data and how are different schemes actually enabling the government to create this massive database which is being misused.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to start off by saying that as of today, in our entire country, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh are the two most mass surveilled states in India. So this surveillance, like they do this through a lot of schemes. So your question was, what is the recent incident of data
Yes.
leak?
Yeah, because I think the very first line in your article, that there is this state government employee who is going door to door
Yeah.
taking fingerprints. I find it very alarming.
Yeah.
Because this just creates a suspicion, as just a citizen, who is probably aware that even your WhatsApp chats could be misconstrued.
Right.
So how is the state government justifying this kind of surveillance?
So personally, I feel like right now we are in an era where even asking for someone's phone number to, sort of like send a bill over or anything basic has become a very uncomfortable question. And in such an era, the state government and Andhra Pradesh has taken it like a couple of steps forward by, employing about 2.6 lakh grama volunteer. They're called grama volunteers in every district and every village, and these guys are being paid like 5,000 rupees a month, who go every day door to door to collect a lot of intrusive information. And the sad part is most of the people are not even they don't have much awareness, so they're not even alarmed by the fact that these questions are being asked. They're so blindly trusting because it is coming from the government, and they are so like, this is a vulnerable section of our society that we are talking about, where they're in need of benefits, and they're in need of schemes. So they're more than being alarmed. I don't think they see the challenges of what this can pose in the future. This is from my ground experience, is what I've collected. So
अश्विन, आप इसमें कुछ ऐड करना चाहेंगे? क्योंकि जैसे आधार को भी लेकर जो डिबेट है वो यही है कि गवर्नमेंट हमेशा जस्टिफाई करती है कि दिस विल प्रॉब्ली ब्रिंग एन एंड टू करप्शन, क्योंकि जो बेनिफिट्स है वो बेनिफिशियरी को मिलेगा. बट विदिशा के स्टोरी में हमें ये पता चलता है कि उस डेटाबेस का मिसयूज़ करके भी फेक बेनिफिशरीज़ हैं जिनको कि गवर्नमेंट स्कीम का लाभ मिल रहा है. तो आपको मतलब जैसे कि आपके जो स्टेट है मध्य प्रदेश, वहाँ पर भी इस तरीके की एक पूरा उन्होंने यूनिक समग्र, हाँ, आई थिंक समग्र इज़ द यूनिक आईडी दैट द शिवराज चौहान गवर्नमेंट हैड स्टार्टेड. एंड आई नो ड्यूरिंग लॉकडाउन आई हैड डन अ स्टोरी कि वो समग्र आईडी बनाने के लिए एक तो द प्रोसेस इज़ वेरी टीडियस, और उससे भी डजंट रियली इंश्योर कि बेनिफिट मिले. तो आप इस पे कुछ कहना चाहेंगे?
तो जो आप बता रही समग्र का, वो जब मैं स्कूल में था करीब आई थिंक 2012 और 13 की बात है, तब शुरुआत हुई थी जब उनकी गवर्नमेंट थी शिवराज सिंह चौहान की. बेसिकली उसके पीछे पर्पस ये था कि एक ऐसा स्टेट का जो भी सिटीज़न, उसको ऐसा एक नंबर, यूनिक नंबर मिले जिससे उसका एजुकेशन, उसके बच्चों का एजुकेशन, उसका घर, उसकी इनकम, उसको कौन से बेनिफिट्स मिलना चाहिए, सारा एक स्कीम के अंदर होना चाहिए. जैसे लाइक आंध्र प्रदेश में वो कलेक्ट करने का फंडा ये है कि वो सिटीज़न को ट्रैक कर पाएँ कि उनको कौन सी स्कीम का फ़ायदा मिल रहा है, किसका नहीं मिल रहा है, उनके बच्चे क्या कर रहे हैं, उनका क्योंकि
राशन मिल रहा है,
हर एक लाइक वो अम्ब्रेला चाहते हैं.
स्कीम है,
लेकिन प्रॉब्लम यह है कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एक अलग अम्ब्रेला बना रही है डेटा का, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट एक अलग अम्ब्रेला बना रही है स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का. और इंडिया में डेटा प्रोटेक्शन को लेकर अभी लॉ इतना मजबूत नहीं है जो होना चाहिए, जिसके कारण ही हम देखते हैं कि कहीं किसी का आधार कार्ड लीक हो जा रहा है, किसी का डेटा लीक हो जा रहा है. मतलब यहाँ तक कि जो आप मतलब इसको बोलना ये ऐसा चाहिए कि जो भी डेटा यूज़ हो रहा है इस समय दूसरों लोगों का, जो भी यूज़ किया जा रहा है, वो बहुत ही सेंसिटिव हाथों में, किसी के पास कोई नॉलेज नहीं कि कैसे उसका मिसयूज़ हो सकता है. सबसे अच्छा मूवी थी जमताड़ा, आपने देखा होगा. वहाँ पे कैसे वो फ़ोन नंबर निकाल लेते हैं, फिर बैंक आईडी के थ्रू आपसे चीटिंग कर लेते हैं. ये सब कहीं ना कहीं जो आपका एक डेटा इन्फॉर्मेशन लीक हो रहा है, उसके बहुत सारे कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस है. जरूरी नहीं कि आधार कार्ड डेटा लीक होने से कुछ लगता है लोगों को कुछ होगा नहीं, लेकिन एड्रेस से कुछ आदमी कोई आपके गलत नंबर पे कुछ और, आपके एड्रेस पे कुछ और ले सकता है. हो सकता है आपके आधार कार्ड पे कोई रजिस्ट्रेशन कहीं और कर दे, हो सकता है आपके नंबर पे कोई और फ़ोन लगा के फॉर्जरी कर दे आपके साथ. तो थोड़ा हमें लगना चाहिए कि इस समय हम जी रहे हैं, जिस सदी में खासकर हमारे पास एक डेटा प्रोटेक्शन लॉ होना चाहिए, मजबूत लॉ होना चाहिए, जिससे हम इंश्योर कर सकें कि हाँ, जो हम डेटा दे रहे हैं, चाहे गवर्नमेंट को दे रहे हैं, चाहे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, चाहे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, वो सेफली हैंड में होना चाहिए.
विदिशा, आपको मैं यहाँ पे लाना चाहूँगी कि जैसे जिन डेटा रिसर्चर्स से आपने बात करी है, आई जस्ट वॉन्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड लाइक व्हाट इज़ द कोर्स अवेलेबल टू अ पर्सन who feels wronged by breach of his or her privacy. Because for example, जैसे आपके स्टोरी में there is an example of a guy, उसके नाम पे benefit किसी और को दे दिया गया. Now the local dynamics at the village level plays out very differently, because like I was just trying to understand once, why do so many hunger deaths occur in state like Jharkhand? तो वहाँ पे if the sarpanch says that okay, you know, I'm signing your ration card, और वो नहीं भी देता है because of caste factor, the dynamic, the person doesn't feel enabled to file a complaint. Now here I'm talking about privacy, which may seem like an alien concept to someone belonging to a village in Andhra Pradesh. Right. So what is the course available to them as of now, the people that you've spoken to? How do they go about it?
So the incident that you've mentioned right now is of this farmer who was sanctioned about, I think, 68,000 rupees under the Raitu Bharosa scheme, which is a scheme for farmers in Andhra Pradesh under the YSRCP government. So he claimed that he's received a message from the government saying that the money has been sanctioned, but he hasn't received the money per se. And when he contacted the Grama volunteers, they were of no help. They were just dodging his question. So what happens is, when I spoke to Srinivas Kodali, he is the researcher I spoke to, and I mean, he has done extensive work on this entire Aadhaar project. So what he had to say was, this entire system of Grama volunteers, it gives immense power to the Grama volunteers to decide what subsidy goes to whom, and they are very free to manipulate, the list. They can just put in their friends' names and be like, these are the beneficiaries who are fit to gain the scheme. So this is where it gets tricky, right? Because just a section of people are being given a lot of power. This is sort of I wouldn't call it a loophole, but yeah, I mean, this section of people do hold a lot of power to decide which person gets the scheme in the village. So the hardest part in this story, unfortunately, was to reach out to government officials to get quotes on this. There were very few people willing to speak about privacy concerns of citizens. But I managed to just get through to one individual who's the principal secretary, I think. His name is Anil Jain, yeah. So I reached out to him. He's the principal secretary of ward Grama volunteers in Andhra Pradesh. So he claims that out of the 2.6 lakh volunteers in our entire state, there's only such complaints of fraud happening in the state in hundreds. And he says that we take care of all the complaints, no matter whether they're agenda based or genuine. We make sure that they get the punishment that they deserve.
Right. And what is the punishment like?
He didn't emphasize again on that. But he again is not the right person to give us insight about how data is being protected. Ultimately, it's the IT guys who should let us know. The IT department should let us know. The people from real-time governance society must let us know. So that is the problem. There's no we know that there's no defined data protection law in our country, but also the fact that there's no transparency between the government and its people. The people don't know where the data is going to, how it's being used. That, I think, is the major problem that we are struggling to fight today.
And also, I think the flaw in this system that they've put in place is too much power concentrated in the hands of a few without any audit mechanism in place.
So you mentioned that, in villages, it's always these panchayat level people who approve things for the villagers. So this was a very important point that Kodali made while he spoke to me, and I put that in the story as well, that the election commission, no matter how independent a body it is, it doesn't have its own staff, right? So they turn to the panchayat level teachers and these people at the end of the day to help them out, carry the election procedure. So there is a very high possibility of party members trying to manipulate these guys into saying that, into deciding who gets the scheme and who does not. So we should not, that can't be ignored, even though serious claims have been made by the government that these Grama volunteers belong to no political parties. The possibility can't be ignored that they can be manipulated at the end of the day.
Right. We'll continue talking about the news of the day, which is the raids on the Wire co-founders. Something we'll be talking to Ashwine about this. The video part of the podcast ends here. To listen to the complete podcast, log on to newslaundry.com.
The subscription model is something that keeps Newslaundry afloat, but we need hundreds of thousands of people to completely transform the news ecosystem. So you pay for news, so it serves you. So click on the link with this video, subscribe to Newslaundry and pay to keep news free और गर्व से कहो, मेरे खर्च पर आज़ाद है खबरें।